Hey, what's going on, y'all? I am so glad y'all are back with me today. It is Thursday and happy English 2 Learning Day. It's so good that y'all are here. Hope you enjoyed your day off yesterday. It's time to get it on and popping. So, today, I don't have a turn up song for you, but I do have a turn up quote for you, and that's don't worry about failures. Worry about the chances you miss when you don't even try. And it's by Jack Canfield. And that's so true, y'all. I want y'all to try, even in the midst of everything that's going on. Keep trying, keep on making an attempt at the work, even when it's difficult. The reason why I have put that quote in specialty today, and I made that a point to say, is because today we're going to be trying and doing some different things, and I'm going to be introducing you to new material. And some of it's going to be a little difficult. However, I want you to stay in there. Stay with it. Don't give up. So, today, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be entering or going a little deeper in our persuasion unit. We went deeper. We started, not deeper, we started on Tuesday talking about our persuasion unit. Now we're going to go a little deeper and talk about ways in which we can persuade people and how to identify different types of evidence, which we practiced yesterday, but we're going to get a little bit more practice with that today. And also, we're going to talk about the different types of reasoning that is kind of faulty, that's like doesn't make any type of sense, and that's called a fallacy. But we're going to get into that. So sit back, relax, and let's do this. So the very first thing I want to talk to y'all about is I actually want to talk to y'all about, sorry, getting my anchor chart. First, I want to just review the type of evidence there is. And this is the type of evidence it is. And you should have explored this when you were doing your assignment yesterday, reading A Time to Assert. You should have came across these types of evidence. The first type of evidence is a logical evidence. And basically, logical evidence is basically appealing to facts and clear rationale. The next type of evidence is empirical evidence. This is based on experiences and direct observation through research. The second type of evidence is anecdotal evidence, and this is based on personal accounts of incidents. I want to give you all different, I'm going to give you an example of each type right now. And this PowerPoint slide is going to be made available for you. So first, all these have been taken from your articles that have been assigned to you, and I just identified them for you. Let me put in present mode. So this right here, this quote, at times like this, Americans need to remember that the country was also founded by descendants, by people who were misfits in their own society, because they believed, among other things, that it was wrong to punish pilferage with hanging or crimes of any sort of torture. So, what type of evidence would this be? Let's see. It's anecdotal. So the reason why it's anecdotal is because the evidence is really based on observation. It's like a story format. It's not really leaning on facts, and it's not leaning on logic. So that's what makes it anecdotal. Anecdotal is the weakest type of evidence, and anecdotal evidence is going to fall under fallacies. But we're going to talk about that later in our lesson. I just want you to get down pat that this is a type of anecdotal evidence. All right, let's keep going. We go back to present mode. All right, the next type of evidence is this. Since 1988, government statistics show there has been a steady decline in the crime rate from 223 per 10,000 residents to 175 per 10,000 last year. This is an example of empirical. I know that's a big word, but empirical. And basically, that's evidence that's using research. So anything in keywords to know that it's empirical is when they use words like statistics, when it's a big group of people, when they use the word rate. Those are keywords that let you know it's empirical evidence, right? This next, last, final type of evidence I want to introduce you to is not anecdotal, logical evidence. This is when a fact is used. I'm going to read it for you now. Let me expand it for you. At dawn on May 13th, 6 Malaysians were hanged for drug trafficking, bringing to 17 the number executed for such offenses so far this year, 10 more than the total of prisoners executed in all of 1993. This is a logical piece of evidence. Don't get this confused with empirical evidence. The difference is this. Empirical evidence is quoting a statistics, is research. It's like we polled 100 people. We talked to 200 people. We went and we surveyed 1,000 people. Logical evidence is just a fact. Mr. Cheairs has a wife and a kid. That's a fact. Like there's no empirical, there's no research that needs to be had there. But check this out. This is an example of empirical evidence, however. 100 African American males were surveyed in Houston, and 10 out of 100 are fathers. So that's the difference. When you're thinking about logical evidence, it's just facts. No research is happening. Empirical evidence. And then let me go back to the example of empirical evidence right here. No, that's not it. This is an example of empirical evidence again. It's you see it's more than one person. It's not just a singular fact. And it's research happening. Statistics, rate. Those are your keywords there. And feel free to rewatch this video again. Don't just watch it again one time. Rewatch it again because this is new material again, people. Now this is what we're going to do. Now we're going to transition and we're going to talk about reasoning that's faulty. And I'm going to go back and I want to show you these anchor charts. And all these anchor charts are available for you to use to do this assignment. So now we're going to talk about common fallacies. So remember in the lesson when I was talking about anecdotal evidence and I was talking about how that's based out of a story, like that's based out of evidence that you observe? Well, anecdotal evidence is really, really weak because it's just based on really just your opinion, right? So we call anecdotal evidence fallacies, and they fall in different categories. Now, this is what you're gonna I have on the screen for you. First, you have a hasty generalization. This is when you just come to a conclusion really quickly and you don't really have all relevant facts. So example would be, even though it's only the first day, I can tell this is going to be a boring course. I'm going to transition back to the side because it's a little bit bigger and you can see. Let's see. Here we go. And I'm sure you can see this better. So it's a hasty generalization. This is a conclusion that's based on insufficient or biased evidence. Even though it's only the first day, I can tell this is going to be a boring course. Either or. This is a conclusion that oversimplifies the argument by reducing it to only two sides or choices. We can either stop using a car or destroy the earth. Adam Palm. This is an emotional appeal that speaks to positive or negative feelings rather than the real issue at hand. If you were a true American, you would support the rights of people to choose whatever vehicle they want. It's an emotional appeal. Moral equivalence. This is a comparison of minor misdeeds with major atrocities. So that parking attendant who gave me a ticket is as bad as Hitler. I found the typo, y'all. I hate typos. Sorry. I'm going to edit myself in the spot. There we go. So it's when you take something small. So you might say, Mr. Cheairs forgot her name, so he must be racist. So it's like you take one small infraction and you make a big deal out of it. So that's called moral equivalence. And again, these are difficult terms. This can be difficult to apply. So I just want y'all to open your mind and make sure you're having all the information possible. So when it's time for that final assignment, you are able to ace it. Next one is red herring. This is a diversionary. And the word diversion means you kind of distract. It's a distracting tactic that avoids the key issues, often by avoiding opposing arguments rather than addressing them. The level of mercury in seafood may be unsafe, but what will fishers do to support their families? Go back. Let me go back. There we go. All right, and this is the final one. Oh yeah, those are I pretty much went through them all. Now, What you're gonna do right now, after you get done watching this video, you're gonna actually go in and make sure you do this. Make sure before you start on the final assignment, you've read both articles. It's gonna be imperative that you do to make sure that you understand how to do this final piece. This is where you can get all your materials from. I'm gonna go back here. Right here are the two articles. Article number 1, article number 2, and then also your anchor charts. Your anchor charts are going to be key because they're going to give you the vocabulary of both types of evidence, which is going to be crucial in order for you to fill out the final assignment. So let's go over the final assignment. Hopefully this helps. All right. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to read this slide, right? And you're going to just tell me what type of evidence it is. That's it. Each one, and these are kind of easy because I reviewed it in our video presentation. So if you have been paying attention and you watched the video, you're good to go, right? It's pretty much, it's the same thing we talked about. So I just want to make sure you all are paying attention, right? And then you're going to tell me what type of evidence that is. Then you're going to tell me what type of evidence this is, right? So you're going to read that quote, and then you should be able to tell me what type of evidence it is based on our conversations. And some of these we reviewed during our lecture, so you should be able to identify them. Now, this is where I want you to do, and this is where it's going to take a little mental power, right? I want you to read through Rough Justice and the Time and Assert, and I want you to locate one type of each of the evidence in the text and identify whether it's empirical, logical, or anecdotal. I want you to have one of each, right? Make sure the quote is at least 2 sentences with paragraph number and indicate which article you're referencing. So you just need 3 in total, and you can use either article. You need to just tell me, is it empirical, is it logical, or is it anecdotal? Please don't just skip this because you don't feel like doing it. Do it. Try. I promise you, I will give you credit for a good try. But just not to do it, come on. Reasoning and evidence. So this is where we're going to talk about the different types of evidence that is just faulty. It doesn't really hold up, right? And that's where you're going to talk about the different type of fallacy. So what category best identifies this following fallacy? You're going to look at it and then you're going to pick one. You're going to do the same thing for here. Then you're going to identify an example of a red herring either in the text on microphase. Be sure to indicate which article and paragraph number. Identify an example of an atom problem and record it in the space below. Be sure to indicate which article and paragraph number. Then identify an example of an either or fallacy and record it in the space below, and make sure you indicate the article and page number. Again, y'all, I know some of this is going to be difficult to go back and look and really think about which one falls in what category. That's why it's important that you just make a really strong attempt, all right? A strong attempt will take you a very long way. I'm not expecting you all to master this perfectly, but I am expecting you to master a try. That is all I have for y'all today. Again, remember to try y'all best. I love y'all, and there's absolutely nothing y'all can do about it. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Until we meet again. Peace.